Hello and welcome to a new episode of Money Means Business. Today we are going to tackle together a number of statements which were released by Her Excellency Minister of Planning and International Cooperation, Dr. Rania Al-Mashat, regarding the economic performance of the Egyptian economy. The Egyptian economy expanded for more than 5% in the fourth quarter of the fiscal year 2024-2025, which ended in June 2025. We are going to know more about the indicators, about the efforts exerted to continue with this progress, and also about the distinguished cooperation between Egypt and a number of economic international institutions. On top of the list is the World Bank, to make sure that we are on the right track to Egypt 2030, to the new republic, and to continue on the ground with implementing the sustainable development goals. Right after the short break, we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned.
The Ministry of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation announced that the Egyptian economy expanded by 5% in the fourth quarter of fiscal year 2024-2025, which ended in June 2025, up from 2.4% in fourth quarter of fiscal year 2023-2024, marking the strongest quarterly growth in 3 years. The performance lifted full-year GDP growth to 4.4% compared to 2.4% in fiscal year 2023-2024, surpassing earlier projections and the government's 4.2% target. Planning Minister Rania Al-Mashat stated that the rebound reflected the resilience of Egypt's economy despite external shocks and was supported by reforms under the National Structural Reform Program. The program has improved public investment, governance, boosted competitiveness, and expanded private sector participation. Growth in fourth quarter was driven mainly by non-oil manufacturing, tourism, and the communications and IT sector. Non-oil manufacturing grew by 18.8% in fourth quarter, lifting its annual growth to 14.7%, ending a 2-year contractionary phase. The Industrial Production Index recorded double-digit increases in several industries, including motor vehicles 126%, pharmaceuticals 52%, and ready-made garments 41%. Tourism also performed strongly, expanding 19.3% in fourth quarter and 17.3% annually, buoyed by infrastructure upgrades and marketing strategies that helped Egypt attract over 17 million tourists. The ICT sector grew by 14.6% in fourth quarter and 13.8% annually, supported by investment in digital infrastructure and the rollout of 5G networks. Other sectors recording solid growth included financial intermediation, 10.8% in fourth quarter, transport and storage, insurance, electricity, wholesale and retail trade, and construction. Egypt has recently launched its new narrative for economic development, outlining a roadmap for the economy through 2030. The government aims to reach 7% real GDP growth by 2030 and reduce debt by $1 to $2 billion annually.
Welcome back. The National Structural Reform Program is the key word here, with which Egypt depends on increasing its GDP and working on the GDP growth. And here we are talking about what took place in the past 3 years. Egypt's GDP grows 5% in the fourth quarter of the fiscal year 2024-25. To shed more light on this, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Mr. Osama Murad, our financial expert. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. A very good evening.
Pleasure is all mine.
Sir, let's speak about these statistics, or these numbers which were released by Her Excellency Minister of Planning, Dr. Rania Al-Mashat, regarding the growth of the GDP, and to say that this is the strongest in 3 years, despite the shocks or despite the global economic crises around us. How do you see the numbers, Mr. Osama?
The numbers are outstanding, fantastic, especially in the current economic situation of the world. And the circumstances of conflict and war and the decline of the Suez Canal revenues, which adds up. But the manufacturing sector, the tourism sector came up with the remaining amount. So it's fantastic. If we were in normal circumstances and the Suez Canal would be operating fine, we would be, I think, close to 6%.
And sir, let me go to the non-oil manufacturing, which grew by 18.8% in the fourth quarter of the same fiscal year. How do you see this also as an indication that we are on the right track regarding our economic growth in general?
Well, the 5% has been a long-term target always. And we are on track. We're doing well. We have been attracting foreign direct investment, historic high. Tourism is at historic high, and the manufacturing sector picked up dramatically.
The industrial production index, you mean?
The industrial production, the non-oil manufacturing sector.
Yeah. But this is the fruitful result of localizing industry in many sectors. How do you see the importance of this term, localizing industry, and the state's will to give incentives to the manufacturers whenever you are going to use more than 60 or 65% of the raw material, local raw material? The case is going to be totally different regarding the way the state is dealing with you. How do you see this story, sir?
It's a fantastic effort by the government. In addition to that, part of the economic restructuring reform program was the devaluation, which made Egypt much more competitive on a global landscape, and that's why these sectors picked up dramatically because they benefited from the competitive structure of the Egyptian pound.
Yeah. Also, sir, when it comes to tourism performing strongly, expanding 19.3% in the fourth quarter, and to make sure that, inshallah, in a month from now, the Grand Egyptian Museum... Hello? Hello? Okay. We are going to turn back right after the short break, and I'm sorry for the disruption. It seems that we have some technical difficulty. We were very much delighted to have with us via phone Mr. Osama Murad, our financial expert. Welcome back, and to continue with analyzing the latest statements which were released by the Ministry of Planning regarding the Egypt DTP and the economic growth of Egypt. We are very much delighted to have with us via phone Dr. Hussein Shureiba, our economic expert. Thank you very much for being with us, sir, and a very good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm happy to be with you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, we were, as I said in my intro, we are speaking about the Egyptian economic growth and the efforts exerted by the state to have these tangible steps on the ground to make sure that this is going to continue despite the global economic crises. How do you see, sir, the numbers which were released by the ministry saying that the Egyptian growth marked 5% in the fourth quarter of the fiscal year, which ended in June 2025, the strongest in 3 years?
Well, allow me to say that it is done by a group of leaders. They have a very good vision, and the top leader of this was President Sisi with his geopolitical manners in the Egyptian territories and areas, and what is going on of headache and wars everywhere. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two, you will find that the Prime Minister was very keen to upgrade the economy, although lots of people were against his vision and his traditional way. Rani al-Mashat itself is a very intelligent doctor with her new vision, and Dr. Ahmed Kojak, the Ministry of Treasure in Egypt, he is also one of the playing key roles in this. So it is a teamwork done by professionals. Mm-hmm. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, you will find that the infrastructure which is being done in the previous 5-6 years ago, it is one of the important elements to push the economy up front. Mm-hmm. Number three, the limitation of timing and all these things which has been having the people to involve in investment and all these things is limited right now, and it is much advanced than before. Mm-hmm. It is not, of course, like we are aiming today, but it is, let's say, 1,000% is much better.
Amen to that. But to add to what you have just said, sir, and to continue with the statements released by Her Excellency Dr. Rani al-Mashat, she said that shifting regional and international dynamics necessitated an integrated economic reform program to be sure that there is going to be such a strong connection between the sectoral strategies and our reform program implemented on the ground to reach the Egypt 2030 or the new republic, or to continue with implementing on the ground the sustainable development goals. How do you see this, sir, taking into consideration, as you've kindly mentioned, all the surroundings?
You will find this not before 2030. You will find it even on 2027. You will find that the economy of Egypt is the top strongest one in the Middle East. I'm not talking, saying a bluffing words, but I'm saying a true fact. Why? Because you will find the efforts is being done, for example, in non-oil and gas
manufacturing.
Yes, we have today. You find that tourism have been increased. The total manufacturing products in Egypt, it's already increasing, and we are exporting these items everywhere. And we are paying a very good attention to all economies, East and West. We are not captured by the East or captured by the West. So we are with everyone who can. We play a win-win game together. That's a very important rule. The other thing which you find that Egypt, along with Africa, it have a very strong bonds with it, and they trust the vision of Egypt, like what you have done, for example, in Tanzania, the dam over there. You have done
Julius Nyerere.
Yes, you have done lots of things for the benefit of people in Africa. So they have a kind of a confidence that you are coming to support them and not you are coming to capture their wealth or anything. And that would give the Egyptian products a way to expand everywhere. That's Europe, United States, Far East, all of them, they are focusing on Africa and just to want to dump all things they produce to be there. But you are, your location, your bonds, you are an African country, all these things are supporting this. And you are supporting because you have the way.
And the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, along with Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the ministers of our economic circles in specific, they're all the time speaking about Africa as our strategic depth, and to have an integrated economic vision between Egypt and Africa, or including Egypt and Africa, is not a luxury anymore. It's a must. If you agree with me on that, sir.
100%, my dear. Egypt is part of Africa, and we have to support our continent. And that's because you are an Egyptian African country. We did have lots of bonds even with Ethiopia before they have misused the vision of the Nile. Because if they have a very good vision about the Nile and how can they improve their quality of life, Egypt would support them for this.
Yeah.
But their vision was a very limited vision, and it was conquered by other opinions.
Since you mentioned Africa this way, Dr. Hussein, I'm sorry. I think just a few days ago, the president of Rwanda was here in Egypt, and of course he was received by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. But before leaving, we signed an agreement that no visas anymore between Egypt and Rwanda. And I think that this is going to facilitate the move between Egypt and Rwanda, and going to facilitate the moves of businessmen in a specific, or the business environment now is getting better. How do you see this as a move in the right direction? And is it a dream to find such moves between Egypt and all African countries? Or it's something which can be easily implemented on the ground?
This is one of the correct ways. There should be borders between all African countries because they are in one continental. There is no supposed to be visas. Should be a free trade between all these countries because these countries are one unit, not two units. Besides this, you will find that some leaders in companies in Egypt, which is in the electricity and in the infrastructure, went already to Rwanda to do some kind of unique jobs there, and to give what you call protection for continuity of their wealth, like electricity, like giving a better life in the infrastructure, easing everything in transportation. This is a kind of implementing a new vision We are not conquering these countries, and these countries are in need to our help as we are need to their support. It's a win-win vision. It's not like the old conquering countries to these African countries. We are not, we are only brothers. We are only brothers, and we care about them as well as they care about us. So getting the visa off the records from Rwanda and Egypt, it is one a valid point between doing great business between Egypt and Rwanda, between Egypt and Tanzania, between Egypt and Somalia. All these things are very important.
Yeah.
Egypt is part of the continent of Africa, and Africa is in need to leaders, not in need to conquerors. And that's the important thing which President Sisi is doing right now. And you will find another thing that President Sisi is doing, a very unique thing, which is with the GCC, especially Saudi Arabia, when he is putting hand in hand with King King Salman and the Crown Prince Mohammed. Both of them, they are genuine. They are very good, and they are excellent. They are very good supporters. And I hope they continue this manner and this attitude for the benefit of the GCC, for Africa, and for other countries, because you find Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, all these countries, they have lots of funds and they would like to invest. The best investment for them with an honest, professional teamwork is Egypt. It's not with any others. It is this, and Egypt will support because we are also an Arab country. So we are, as we are focusing our focal point in our location, which is very close to the Arab countries, very close to the Africa, even very close to Europe, very close to any focal point you want to go to, east or west. So
Dr. Shureiba, let me continue with what you have said, because you have taken me to the fruitful economic relations with our allies, whether from our brotherly nations in the Arab region or in Africa, our strategic depth. But let us also not miss speaking about our balanced relations with other countries from all over the world, and not to miss that here in Egypt with the Singaporean president's visit, only for example, 7 memoranda of understanding were signed in all domains, in all economic fields, whether it's agriculture, whether it's the health service, education, vocational training, health, you name it. How do you see the keenness of the state to make sure that we are going to continue having balanced economic and, of course, cultural and political relations with our allies from all over the world? It goes without saying that the Arab, Islamic, and African allies, they do have a special position. But also, we do have very distinguished ties with other parts of the world, and when it comes to Singapore, only as an example, we are going to celebrate in 2026 60 years of diplomatic ties, if you want to also elaborate on that.
Well, my dear, Singapore, let's say in the beginning of 1950, they came over here to take how is Egypt was improved, and today they took whatever they think about it, and then we are trying now to capture what they have achieved. There are countries in Asia, they have achieved lots of improvement, especially on the economic attitude. You will find that Singapore is considered one of the top countries, not in Asia, but worldwide, in the income of its people. It's exceeding more than 25,000 US dollars. Besides this, when you find economy is improving in any country, you have to guess how did they reach this? And this is what the President Sisi since 2013 have put into his calendar. I am going to be with everyone, whether from the east or the west.
Yeah.
Who can make a win-win with them, and how can we improve our relationship together and be on an equal standards. And this happens with not only with Singapore. You will find this with China. You find it with Malaysia. You will find it with different countries in Asia, and that's improving our economic and their economic situation. Even in Thailand, you have one of the best connections, especially in textile, with Egypt. And they are looking forward to capture the Egyptian cotton, which is the long thread, to do a very unique productions of their products. We have already asked them to come and manufacture and put their influence in one of the famous cities in Egypt. It's called Mahalla, and they are going to do and manufacture lots of things over there.
Yeah.
And it would be not any brand, it would be the international brands. Besides this, I will tell you something. We are doing a very good relationship if we are talking about the East. What about the West? We are doing a very good relationship with what? With Germany, with Italy, with France, with UK, with USA.
We have a strategic partnership with the EU, and since the EU-Egypt Investment Conference, which took place in June 2024, a lot of steps are taking place on the ground to follow up on the memoranda signed with the deals which were approved and stuff like that. But one final question, sir, if you permit me, because it's very important not to miss speaking about vocational training, about our workforce, about the keenness of the state to qualify the youth to be the cadres of the future, to encourage the new entrepreneurs and startups to find a suitable environment for investing here in Egypt. How do you see this, sir, as also one of the pillars of our economic progress?
Well, I'll tell you something. Still, until today, the manpower in Egypt are the most cheapest one worldwide. And one of the things which is encourage investors to come and invest over here. But also, I would like to tell an important thing to the government of Egypt. They need to create something new for its people. Instead of investing their money in banks and getting an interest, high interest of this, we will do projects like any manufacturer, any industrial manufacturer, whatever the type of it, and we make this like a bonds. And these bonds are granted from the government, and it is managed not by the government, by the private professional sectors, and to engage the manpower of Egypt, because they are qualified professionals, and these sectors, they know that it belongs to them. It doesn't belong to the government. The government can have a part of that share, but the maximum share is not even to the elite in Egypt. It is for the common people in Egypt. Even the stock can start with 10 Egyptian pounds. That's all. And you will find that the people who have, let's say, 10 stocks or 10 bonds in this, they would be happy when they found that everything is manufactured in Egypt. It's equal, whatever we import. So they would stop buying things from outside. Mm-hmm. These things is already there. And they will try to find a better way of improving what they have produced.
What you have just mentioned, sir, is included into the pillars of the new economic narrative, which was launched by Egypt only 3 weeks ago. And one of the pillars, or one of the most important points, it said that the private investments should reach about 66% of the total investments in Egypt by the year 2030. How do you see the number?
Well, I see the 60% or 66% is a very limited thing. I think if it's going to go up to even 90%, because you have to encourage the people, instead of putting their money in the bank, putting the money in the bank is a waste. Mm-hmm. If you put it into projects, you are gaining in everything. You are employing yourself. You are having an income. You are reducing any product, imported product. You are exporting your product. That means another income is coming. Once your product is everywhere, you will find people say, where it's being done? It is done in Egypt. Tourism will come over there. Lots of things, because you are doing an important thing. You are flourishing your economy. So I hope that the people and the government recognize the importance of investing in their country, not through banks. Mm. Through banks, I don't like this. I like to have the minimum in banks, a very limited amount, not the maximum. Maximum of your funds should be 15%. The rest should be with the bonds in the government. And to have important agricultural business, industrial business, tourism business, you are in need to more than 150 hotels. Do you think the private sector, which is very well known, which we know it, and I know them by name, they are going to build 150? No. If the people going to put 10 Egyptian pounds in the bonds, they can do not 150 hotels, they can do 200 or 300 hotels. Mm-hmm. So people should think positive about investing in their economy, not investing in banks. Banks is always...
I like the term, invest in your own economy. There should be a slogan in front of all of us. True?
Absolutely. You're right. 100%.
Dr. Shureiba, I really enjoyed our discussion. Thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good night. Well, by this we come to the end of our episode. Stay tuned on Nile TV International always for more. This was Nermeen Abdurrahman, but before I go, I'm going to leave you with the most important economic events which took place in the past 7 days. Till we meet again, same time on Nile TV International. Many thanks for watching.
Egypt and France have renewed their strategic, technical and financial cooperation agreement, committing €4 billion through 2030 to support priority development projects across Egypt. The announcement was made during a joint press conference held at the headquarters of the Egyptian Ministry of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation in the new administrative capital by Egyptian Planning Minister Rania Al-Mashat and French Ambassador to Cairo, Eric Chevalier. The renewed partnership follows the joint declaration signed during the April 2025 summit in Egypt between Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and French President Emmanuel Macron. Egypt and the Emirate of Fujairah signed 3 energy agreements to establish a logistic zone in Al Alamein, expand Al Hamra port into a major crude oil hub, and supply petroleum products to Egypt, thereby strengthening the country's role as a regional center for energy trade. According to a statement by the Egyptian Ministry of Petroleum, the agreements were signed in Fujairah in the presence of Petroleum Minister Karim Badawi and Mohammed Saeed Ad-Danhani, Director of the Fujairah Emirate Diwan in the United Arab Emirates. According to Knight Frank's Destination Egypt 2025 report, Egypt is consolidating its position as one of the Middle East and North Africa's MENA most dynamic real estate markets, attracting $1.4 billion in global private capital and ranking as the region's 3rd largest construction hub after Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. The report highlighted $120 billion worth of awarded construction contracts in Egypt, with an additional $565.5 billion in the pipeline, driven largely by rising foreign direct investment from Gulf Cooperation Council, the GCC sovereign wealth funds. The Central Bank of Egypt, the CBE, hosted the 9th annual conference of Mediterranean central banks in Cairo, bringing together governors, policymakers, and senior officials from across the Euro-Mediterranean region to discuss innovation, financial integration, and sustainable development. Held under the theme Harnessing Innovation and Integration for Sustainable and Inclusive Development in the Mediterranean Region, the conference was organized in cooperation with Banco de España, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, the European Institute of the Mediterranean, i.e. MED, and the Union for the Mediterranean, UFM. The gathering served as a platform for dialogue on pressing global and regional economic challenges. The Ministry of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation said that Egypt's private investment hit its highest level in 5 years in the fiscal year 2024-2025, which ended in June 2025. Reflecting a stronger role for the private sector in driving growth amid regional challenges. The ministry stated that private investment rose to 47.5% of total executed investments in fiscal year 2024-2025, up from 39.6% in fiscal year 2023-2024. while public investment fell to 43.3%.